Hello, everyone. Let's talk about float pods. The float pod installation that changed everything. If you're watching this, you've probably been thinking about adding a float pod to your wellness center or building the ultimate home sanctuary. You want something more meaningful than just another gadget that ends up collecting dust in the garage. And here's the truth. A float pod is the single most important upgrade you can make if your goal is deeper recovery, calmer clients, and stronger mental health. Float pods turn an average room into the ultimate healing destination that stands out from everything else in the wellness industry. The excitement and fear every float pod buyer feels. What you're excited about. You're excited about profound stress relief that clients can't find anywhere else. Significant pain reduction without pharmaceuticals. A premium new income stream for your center. A powerful differentiator in a crowded market, a sanctuary that genuinely resets the brain. Now let's talk about the scary fears that keep you up at night. How do I install this complex system correctly? What if I mess up the water chemistry? What if the room gets damaged by humidity? What if something breaks and I'm left stranded? Who do I call when problems inevitably arise? I'm going to be honest with you. Those fears are 100% valid because float pods don't fail from bad technology. They fail from bad installation. The pod is fine. The setup is the problem. And that's exactly why I created the S.A.F.E install system. My name is Christopher Brown, and I've been in the float industry since 2019. I've worked inside float centers, rebuilt underperforming pods, tore them down to the frame, replaced components, and brought pods back to life when nobody else thought it was possible. I know exactly why pods fail, and it's never the pod. It's the room, the environment, the installation, the water chemistry, the lack of training. It's the owners being left alone with the equipment they were never taught how to manage. Today, I'm going to show you how to avoid all that and how to install a float pod in your center or home without leaks, contamination, electrical risks, and guesswork. This presentation will save you thousands and thousands of dollars, months of frustration, and wasted time. I'll share with you a real success story. Dr. Shadisha Beck from Core Theta Flotation and Recovery just recently bought a pod from us. My team loaded a U-Haul, drove over 900 miles, about 13 hours straight, across half the United States. On arrival, we installed it, calibrated the water, added the salt, tested the filtration, and during this entire process, we provided hands-on training to Shadi and his team. And now, his pod runs flawlessly. Why? Because it was installed correctly. That's it. That's the secret. A float pod is only as safe as the person who installs it, and the industry refuses to teach people how. The industry's dirty secret. You're left alone after the purchase. What do the manufacturers sell you? A beautiful $25,000 float pod with impressive specifications, sleek design, and promises of transformation. That's pretty much it. What they don't teach you, that list is a lot longer. They don't teach you plumbing systems and leak prevention, electrical safety protocols, filtration system optimization, water chemistry balancing, salt ratio calculations, safety protocols and emergency procedures, ongoing training and support, humidity control strategies. There's a lot more things that they don't teach you. That's just to name a few. So It's like buying a plane and being handed the keys with no flight lessons. Owners panic, rightfully so. If one part is wrong, everything is wrong. And that's why I built the Safe Install system, a method that covers every single step from start to finish. The Safe Install system. What do they mean? S. Site prep and safety engineering. Evaluating and preparing your room for flawless installation. A. Assembly and alignment. Precision installation of every component to perfection. F. Float-ready water calibration. Achieving pristine balanced water chemistry from day one. E. Ecosystem training and support. Comprehensive training so you're never left alone. Let me show you exactly how each component works to protect your investment and ensure masterful execution from day one. Now let's dive a little bit more into this, right? What does S mean? S means site prep and safety engineering, the foundation of success. Before I even touch the pod, before a single bolt gets tightened, before a drop of water goes in, I evaluate the room like a surgeon because 90% of pod failures come from the room, not the pod. If the room isn't prepared correctly, you're building on a foundation of sand. That's not good. Every assessment we conduct follows a comprehensive checklist that has been refined over years of installations, ensuring that nothing is overlooked and every potential issue is addressed before it ever becomes a problem. Critical assessment number 1, humidity control. What's the challenge? Well, like I said before, if the room isn't ready, it becomes a sauna with structural trust issues. Salt doesn't just disappear. It likes to climb walls, settle on surfaces, and creates an environment where moisture damage can occur rapidly and visibly. So we use our comprehensive checklist. Ventilation system capacity and placement, airflow patterns and circulation routes, moisture escape routes and exhaust placement, surface protection treatments and coatings, dehumidification needs and equipment specs, temperature balance to prevent condensation the best we can. We design a ventilation strategy that protects both the room and the pod, ensuring controlled airflow that prevents humidity damage while maintaining the ideal therapeutic environment for floaters. Because you want that, sweet spot of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We try to make that perfect. Critical assessment number 2, electrical access and safety. What's the risk factor? Float pods use heaters, pumps, filtration systems, UV lights, and control panels. Salt water is highly conductive. The equation is simple and dangerous. Salt water plus electricity equals disaster. Electrical placement must be precise, compliant, and protected. What's our safety protocol? It's proper amperage calculation and circuit design, GFCI installation where code requires it, safe distance from water lines and moisture, dedicated circuits preventing overload, surge protective for sensitive electronics, complete code compliance verification, proper grounding throughout the system, strategic isolation from humidity exposure. A wrong outlet or a lazy electrician is all it takes to turn a peaceful float room into an expensive disaster. We eliminate that risk entirely through meticulous planning and professional grade electrical engineering. Critical assessments number 3 through 5. Water drainage and structure. Water access. We use charcoal filters to remove chemicals like chlorine and heavy metals, ensuring cleaner, safer fills. We identify optimal routes for filling the pod, topping off due to evaporation, running cleaning cycles, draining for service, and planning future maintenance. A well-designed setup saves hours per week and eliminates guesswork forever. Drain placement optimization. Drain design determines maintenance ease. We ensure drains are accessible, correctly sloped, and compatible with the pod system for deep cleaning, water changes, debris removal, sanitation standards, and emergency situations. Poor drain placement turns routine maintenance into a punishment. We don't want that. Nobody wants that. And we prevent that. Structural clearance analysis. A filled float pod weighs 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. Your floor must support the weight, maintain perfect levelness, handle moisture exposure, and prevent vibration transfer. We verify doorway dimensions, space allowances, structural integrity. An uneven floor causes pump strain, waterline issues, and long-term frame damage. Neither you or the landlord, or if you own the building, want anything to do with all that. That's a nightmare. Critical assessment number 6. Wall materials and salt protection. The hidden danger of salt. Salt gets everywhere. It has a mind of its own, and it pretty much feels invincible and can be truly relentless. Epsom salt evaporation causes significant damage by crystallizing and expanding, a process called efflorescence. This leaves behind white, powdery deposits and leads to structural problems, including crumbling, flaking, cracking of paint, plaster. It can damage equipment like pumps, clog filters, and cause tiles or grout to break apart. To prevent it, you control humidity, ensure proper sealing, and if it occurs, you can clean it with an acidic solution and seal the surface to prevent future buildup. Most homeowners and wellness centers don't discover this damage until it's extensive and expensive to repair. Our wall protection strategy. We ensure your surfaces can tolerate moisture without breaking down. This includes evaluating existing wall materials, recommending protective coatings or treatments, identifying vulnerable areas requiring extra attention, planning for long-term surface maintenance, and selecting paint and finishes that resist salt damage. By the time your pod arrives, the room has already passed every safety checkpoint, so instead of fighting constant problems, you start with the perfect foundation. Assembly and alignment. Precision installation. Number 1, professional delivery. Pods are heavy, fragile, awkward. We navigate hallways, turns, doors, floors with precision equipment and experience, preventing damage to your property and the pod itself. The last thing we want to do is bring it in the door and drop it and take you all out, or drop the pod and scrape it or crack it in half. Number 2, strategic positioning. We optimize the pod's placement for airflow, maintenance access, client comfort, and long-term serviceability. Every inch matters in creating the ideal therapeutic environment. Number 3, precision leveling. If the pod is off by even a few millimeters, pump strain, water circulation suffers, sensors misread, and the lid seals improperly, just off like a little bit. We level to absolute perfection using professional grade equipment. I've seen things where the pod is off a little bit and the water tends to like pool near like the end or the front of the tank, and it just throws a bunch of things off. That's key. Complete assembly. We install every component: pumps, filters, heaters, sensors, electrical modules, plumbing lines, hinges, and frame connections. This isn't IKEA furniture, it's a precision system where everything must align perfectly. Electrical wiring. We handle all electrical connections safely, correctly, and to code, with proper grounding, surge protection, and isolation from moisture. We have a guy that's been in the electrical union for going on 30 years now, and he knows tons of stuff and blows me away every time we go to install a pod. Plumbing integration. punishes mistakes mercilessly. We build a clean, leak-free system with proper fittings, pressure testing, and long-term durability. The last thing you want is your salt to get stuck in a line because it doesn't have the right pitch to it or clog the whole thing altogether. There's a lot of things that plumbing can work wonders or cause so many headaches. Number 7, pump and filter alignment. Misalignment creates noise, vibration, and early component burnout. We eliminate all that through careful calibration and testing. Sometimes you'll see that the water is not going through the pump right and it's spinning and it's just burning itself out, and kind of like to call it dry fire. F. Float ready water calibration, where most owners fail. This is where most owners fail because they were never properly trained. Water chemistry in a float pod isn't like managing a swimming pool or hot tub. The extreme salt saturation creates unique challenges that require specialized knowledge and precise techniques. Getting it wrong leads to cloudy water, skin irritation, equipment damage, and disappointed clients. Getting it right creates a pristine, therapeutic environment that clients rave about and return to repeatedly. If you mess up your water or you don't take the right steps and it gets way out of control, the really only solution for it is just to drain it and start over again. And that can cause you thousands and thousands of dollars, having to rebook people's floats. It just causes a mess. 7-step water calibration process we like to follow. Proper filling protocol. Filter water at correct temp and flow for optimal starting conditions and system protection. Stage salt. Controlled additions prevent equipment stress, ensuring complete dissolution for perfect buoyancy. Temperature setting. Now you want it at that perfect temp of 93.5, 94, 95, matching skin receptor neutrality for the sensation of floating and nothingness. You want to make sure that that temperature is just right, so after, a couple minutes or so, people can't tell where their hands and feet end and everything just seems like one and you pretty much just like melt away. pH balancing. Crucial for sanitation, water clarity, and preventing skin irritation. We ensure ideal pH levels. Filtration cycle programming. Correct turnover rate keeps the water pristine, eliminating contaminants quietly between sessions. Now, in between everybody, you want to make sure that your, turnover rate is correct and the pod's doing the right thing, because you want to hop in the float tank like you're the first one to use it for the day. You don't want to hop in a dirty tank from the other person, so that's important. Sanitation system calibration. UV light, ozone, and chemical balance work together for high sanitation without harsh chemicals. I believe that's probably the best way to go, although there's many ways to do it. As long as you have it all figured out like we do, then your sanitation will be perfect. Flow rate optimization. Quiet, smooth water circulation maintains quality and temperature consistently, unnoticed by floaters. You end up with water that is clean, safe, stable, and ready to deliver transformative float experiences from day one. If you mess up any of these along the way, people are going to come to your place, they're going to hop in the tank, and they're going to be disgusted by what they see. It's not going to be right. Everything will be off. People might get hurt from the water burning their skin, or there's a whole array of problems that can happen. So make sure you got this down pat, and we do. Ecosystem training and support. You're never alone. Comprehensive training includes daily operations and pre-session checks, weekly maintenance routines and schedules, deep cleaning procedures and timing, water testing protocols and interpretation, troubleshooting common issues, safety protocols and emergency procedures, client education and session optimization, equipment care and longevity practices. And our ongoing support structure includes direct access to installation experts, video tutorials for reference, troubleshooting guides and checklists, regular check-ins during the first 90 days. We're not going to just set up the pod, drop it, block all your phone numbers, and delete you off Facebook. We want to check in to make sure that everything's going great. Once the first 90 days are over, you'll still be able to get support, but you'll more than likely be on your way to not needing us. But we will be there. Supplier connection for parts and supplies, community successful float pod owners, annual maintenance planning assistance, updates on best practices and innovations. The game is always changing, and we got the newest tips and tricks of the trade, so we'll share all that with you. We don't install and leave. We train you until you can run the system confidently and competently. You are never alone with the equipment that you just don't understand. This ongoing relationship is what separates a successful float pod operation from a struggling one. And it's included in every installation we complete. We want to treat you guys like family, not just another customer. We care about you. We care about how your center's doing. We care about how your float pods are doing. And we care about you. Addressing your biggest concerns. Can I install it myself and save money? Yes, you could. Technically, yes. But doing it yourself installation is the number one cause of problems. Cause of leaks, humidity damage, electrical issues, pump failure. A do-it-yourself install can appear correct the first week, first month, first 90 days, and all of a sudden, bam, hidden problems reveal themselves. Slow leaks you didn't notice until it's too late, salt that gets caked up on all your instruments in the back, humidity buildup you don't see until your paint bubbles, pump strain you don't feel until it fails mid-session, water chemistry drifting until your water clouds overnight, and temperature instability causing poor client experience. Doing it yourself saves money in the moment, but costs you at the end, significantly more in the long run. What you buy from me isn't just a pod, it's the peace of mind and protection for your investment. Now, is professional installation too expensive? No, it's not. The float therapy industry is growing 15 to 20% annually, and that number is accelerating fast. Float therapy isn't a fad or a trend, it's a growing, data-backed category driven by unprecedented stress levels, overwhelming mental health services, and demand for pain management alternatives. People wanting recovery systems that actually work. Wellness centers needing differentiation, and homeowners seeking genuine sanctuary. An installation done wrong makes the pod a liability. An installation done right makes the pod profitable and transformative. A proper installation doesn't cost. It protects your investment and ensures your return on investment. So, the real regret, waiting too long. The float pod becomes the one thing I didn't know I desperately needed. In all the years I've been doing this, the biggest regret people express isn't buying a pod. It's actually waiting too long to buy one. Wellness centers that hesitate lose months of booking potential while competitors launch first and capture the market. Homeowners delay the recovery they needed yesterday, and stress doesn't take a break while you debate whether or not you need it in your house. So do it. What they discover after the installation. It becomes the most profitable room in the wellness center. It becomes the calm space clients and families rely on daily. It becomes the anchor for recovery and mental clarity. It becomes the most loved feature in the home sanctuary. It becomes the differentiator that sets them apart from the competition. And the moment the pod is installed correctly, their only question is, why didn't I do this sooner? Regret doesn't come from purchasing a float pod. Regret comes from missing the window where it could have changed your business, your home, and your overall health for the better. So here's a little chart of the float industry demand. Show you that it's growing year after year, and you can lead that growth. The data is clear. Float therapy demand is accelerating. This isn't speculation, it's measured growth driven by real market forces. Stress levels are at historic highs. Take a look around. Take a look at the world that we're living in right now. People are just stressed out constantly, all day, every day. Mental health services can't keep up with demand. And they're pretty boring, honestly, to go and talk to someone and talk to someone you don't know and kind of maybe dig up some of your past and makes you feel worse once you leave out the door. You finally have a tool that you can go in, calm down, put some music on, lay there in silence, and just drift away and let your body kind of just relax in total peace. People are actively seeking alternatives to pharmaceuticals. Pain management, recovery modalities that deliver measurable results are in high demand. The wellness industry has become increasingly competitive, and things that make you different are pretty much what matters more than ever, and that's a float tank. Centers with professionally installed float pods are capturing this growth. Centers without them are losing clients to competitors who offer this experience to their clients. Simple. If you have a wellness center and you don't have a pod, you're going to see all of your competition walk across the street and go to the place that does because the pod is the man. It's taken off. So the window of opportunity is open right now, but it won't stay open forever as the market becomes saturated with providers. The last thing you want to do is wait, 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 and then every single wellness center on the block has a float pod, and you're the last person. Your investment protected. What professional installation delivers. Failure prevention rate with over 90%. Pod failures stem from installation errors that professional installation eliminates. Code compliance guaranteed, 100%. All electrical, plumbing, and safety standards are met without exception. We will not skip corners on that. Years extended lifespan, like 5, 7, honestly even more than that. Properly installed pods last significantly longer with fewer repairs. Annual industry growth, like we talked about before. Your investment enters a rapidly expanding market with proven demand. Every time I explain what I do or I explain float therapy to someone, a lot of people don't know what it is. And once you explain it to them, they're like, I got to try that. That's key. When you choose professional installation through the S.A.F.E install system, you're not just getting a service, you're getting insurance for your investment. Every assessment we conduct, every component we install, every system we calibrate, every training session we provide works together to protect your float pod from the common failures that plague do-it-yourself installations. This is the difference between a pod that becomes a profitable asset and one that becomes an expensive problem. So, are you ready to start your float pod journey the right way? If you want a float pod installation that is accurate, safe, flawless on the first attempt, a pod that's free of leaks, contamination, unnecessary trial and error, click the button below and book a consultation call. On your consultation call, we will evaluate your space with precision. We'll discuss room dimensions, structural considerations, electrical access, plumbing options, environmental factors to determine exact requirements. We'll tell you exactly how to prepare. You'll receive a detailed preparation checklist covering everything from wall treatments to electrical upgrades to ventilation requirements. We leave no stone unturned. Map your complete installation plan. We'll create a timeline, identify all necessary components, plan the delivery logistics, and schedule every phase of your installation. We'll also answer all your safety questions. No question is too small or too technical. We'll address every concern until you have complete clarity and confidence. You will leave with clarity even if we don't end up doing work together. This consultation alone will save you from costly mistakes and give you the knowledge to evaluate any installation service. But if you choose to move forward with the safe install system, you'll have the peace of mind that comes from knowing your float pod will be installed correctly, safely, and professionally from day one. So, are you ready to heal the warrior within? Book your free consultation now. Take the step. Start your installation the right way. Let's begin building your float pod sanctuary together.